نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم آمين. Alhamdulillah, we are starting from ayah number 41. So the themes which we already covered in this surah, if you remember, the surah, if you see this surah, what surah are we reading? Surah Nahl. Nahl means bee. And the surah comes, when does it come? It comes after the Surah Hijr we read. And if you remember, Surah Hijr emphasized on the power and knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, particularly in context of prophethood and divine warning. This, I please allow me to say that we tend to take this thing out of context, the power and knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He knows everything. We went to this extent, though this emphasis is on this, the divine warning and the prophethood and the secrets of the heavens and the earth and the possible fate of people who believe, who don't believe, and they're going to be the consequences and other stuff. We took it in an extent that every step you are going to take, Allah knows it. And when do Allah knows it? Before the beginning of time. There's no beginning of time, though. Allah is there since eternity, since eternal. I mean, Allah is there beginning and beginning and you can go far back as much as possible. Since then, Allah knows everything. Nothing can be added into His knowledge. Now, this is taken out of the context and blown it up to an extent that all the blame goes to Allah. Now, because of this new concept, which you read Quran, you don't find this concept in this way, the way we have purported it in today's time, especially in the traditional school, Rawayat. In this traditional school, we have devised this aqidah of Allah's knowledge, that Allah's knowledge is absolute, eternal, nothing can be added to it. Since the beginning it's there. So which means that Allah knowingly making people that whatever they're doing, letting them do, so that they go to hell and burn them forever, and they cannot save themselves because they've been built in this purpose. So this is what see, the burden of onus shifted from people to Allah. So this is, though this surah Hijr, emphasized the power of knowledge of Allah, particularly in the context of prophethood and divine warning. This is very significant, that where to apply what aqidah or knowledge which Allah has given us, it turns into an aqidah. So where the aqidah has an application, it has a boundary, it has a limitation. You can't just apply everything on everywhere. So similarly, Allah is Rahim, no doubt about that. But what about those who are child molesters, killers of humanity, of innocent people? Well, Allah should be merciful for them. What happened to His mercy? What happened to the mercy when a killer comes to Him? Allah will punish him on the day of judgment. You see the contrast here? So you need to see the rahmah of Allah, the mercy of Allah, His attribute, as I spoke about the ilmul kalam. His attribute of His mercy has an application, has boundaries, has a context, has a time frame. You cannot keep on copy pasting His mercy towards a mu'min and His mercy towards a child molester. They can't be equal. So this is how it has been. So similarly, the knowledge of Allah, which mentioned in Surah Hijr, emphasize His power of knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in context of this divine warning and the prophethood. Then Surah Nahl builds on that what Surah Hijr, introduced about the signs of Allah. It builds on that. It provides the reflections and the details of it, of Allah's blessings as a sign. As if you remember, I mentioned that, to see the unseen of this universe, including this dunya, to see the unseen, we need an instrument, a tool, like a microscope, like a scope, stethoscope, like an ultrasound machine, an X-ray machine, to see things which are hidden from our eyes. We need a lens and a tool to see. So Quran does provide us a tool, and it talks about the signs. So this is how so remember when I spoke about it. So Surah Nahl is building over what Surah Hijr left us. So these signs which Allah is pointing to us to look at in order to know Allah, to see Allah, are the signs of the natural world. So in order to know the ultimate reality of the universe, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how come those who know the ultimate reality of this universe doesn't know nothing about this universe? How should I trust you? Why should I trust you? When you are the claimers of the ultimate reality of this universe, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you don't know nothing, no realities, no hidden knowledge you have for this universe. You don't know about this planet. Forget about the planet. You don't know about this country. You forget about the country. You don't know about forest out there, insects out there. You don't know nothing about these things. And you're claiming, especially the honey bee, an-nahl. You don't know about what honey bee is. Though your book talks about it, but you don't know anything about it. And you're the claimers that you know the secrets of the universe. This is a very serious subject. The surah brings up about this signs of the natural world, serving as the proof for Allah and His sovereignty. So we had to build it up. We didn't. So our claim of knowing the ultimate reality is also in question today. This is the reason. So surah, and then the surah ends, and then after the surah Isra begins night journey. That a journey is not a night journey, it's a spiritual and moral elevation journey. And inshallah, we'll be talking more about it. So surah, in this first ruku, we spoke about the warnings of the day of judgment and the signs of Allah's creation and the proof of his existence. Remember, in first ruku of this surah Nahl, we read about it. It opens with an emphasis on the certainty of the day of judgment, highlighting this Allah's command for it. And it will come swiftly, and the disbelievers are mocking on it. It'll catch you suddenly while you won't be knowing about it, and you're mocking on it. So this is a serious note. The surah starts from. And then in Ruku 2, if you remember, reflections on the Allah's bounties that are in the nature of this life you are living. The benefits you are, harvesting, ripening off from rain, from rivers, from the fruits and plants Allah has given you, showing that Allah has provided you the sustenance. So this is to understand the nature of this creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why you need to understand? Because you're the Khalifa over it. You need to know. The people you are responsible for, you need to know. The job you've been given to do, you need to know about the job and the people. For instance, you've been sent. You go for an interview. Don't you study? the company you're visiting for an interview, the job description for which you're going to be interviewed. Don't you study all these things in the company and the business company does, and what people are there, what duties are going to be, what's my past experience, does it go with the job requirement or not? Don't you do some work? Yeah, we do, because there's a job you need to do, so you need to understand everything about the job. So similarly, if your job is in this dunya, then you need to understand this dunya. Human psychology, especially the collective psychology and the collective behavior in different domains, are yet, growing, they're developing. And for centuries, we have taken our face away from it. In political domain, in psychological domain, in societal domain, in economic domain, it is still growing, developing, changing at a very fast pace. While since we found the ultimate reality, okay, we have to die, go to Allah. Now, what do we have to do to become an angel here in this dunya? Who said your job is to become an angel in this dunya? Your job is to become Khalifa, not an angel. Abd. Angel is also an abd. But a human being is also an abd, but a human being cannot be an angel. This abd has to be a human being and has to be a Khalifa. But the person who's responsible over these things. So this is the Ruku 2, where Allah talks about the signs and the bounty, the creation of day and night and all that stuff. Then Ruku 3, we discussed about the contrast. We discussed about the believers and the disbelievers. The importance of Tawheed was discussed there, which is the central subject, because it all boils down to the ultimate reality, and that is one Allah. So if you need to know where you're supposed to go, it doesn't mean that you now forget about what you have to do in the middle while you're going there. If you know that you are boarding a train that is going to Montreal, doesn't mean that you don't need to worry about what you have to take with it, how you have to take with it, what you need to do while you're going there. You just keep the blind. Don't worry if you're on the right train. Now you can blindfold and go to sleep. No, you can't. So this is what we studied about this particular, ruku. So let's continue today from ayah number 41 onwards. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين هاجروا في الله من بعد ما ظلموا لنبوئنهم في الدنيا حسنة ولأجر الآخرة أكبر لو كانوا يعلمون. And those who immigrated for the cause of Allah after they had been wronged, we will surely settle them in the world in a good place. But the reward of the hereafter is greater if only they could know. So the cause of Allah has been added here. Though obviously immigrated for Allah does mean there's supposed to be a cause. Else, a person will just think that me holding some idea that there is one God is my job. No, it's not your job. That is this is in nature of everyone. Everybody believes that there is a creator. It has to be a creator. It doesn't come on its own. So remember, I mentioned a couple of days ago about that these laws of universe, where the laws came. Okay, universe came from a big bang, but big bang happened because of, remember, I talk about, you drop an egg on the floor, what's going to happen? The egg would splatter. Imagine a big bang was an egg and the flow, big bang happened when the universe exploded. Fine, but you go and do an experiment, you will see whenever something bursts open, it goes into a higher entropy state from a lower entropy state. But how it reached to a lower entropy state? The egg was in an order. It went from an order to a disorder. How this happened? How it became an order at first place? How? So when we see that how much energy got packed into a nothingness, how? When you question these things, you need to know there are certain rules that this happened. And who made the rules? And then when we see all these laws, all the physical laws, doesn't go on everything. For example, photon, there's no time. As per our understanding of physical laws, the time doesn't doesn't move for a photon. It doesn't experience time. Other particles do. Photon doesn't recognize from a hot photon to a cold photon. The heat energy doesn't work on a photon. Why? So when we studied this, we found out there are laws, and the laws doesn't go on everyone. So who made these laws? Where the laws came up that this energy is obeying. Why these particles are obeying certain laws? Remember, we discussed about the photon and its behavior. The laws behind it, made by whom? Oh, we don't know yet. We're going to reach there. Fine. But again, question, don't you see that there must be somebody who made it? So it goes down to this thing that whether you believe on somehow a first cause that it happened, or a intelligent designer or a creator. So you have to start from somewhere. So humanity, this is how people think. So if you see those who immigrated for Allah, after they had been wrong, will surely settle them in this world. So those who went for Allah, so it's been explained here that for Allah doesn't mean that just holding an aqidah of Allah. This is a cause behind it, and there is a cause. And the Quran, we read so many places. There's a cause has been given to you, and for that cause, the cause was of Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Why we need to accept Muhammad as part of our iman? Because if you don't believe on him, how would we believe in Quran that it is from Allah? It's important for us to believe in him. If you believe in him, his mission needs to be our mission. And his mission was to establish Islam. Quran speaks about it. So that is the cause of Allah. Otherwise, everybody believes in Allah. Maybe they don't call Allah in the name of Allah. Maybe they call him different names. But they believe in the creator, the one who made everything, the one who created human beings. He's the creator. He's the God. Or name him whatever you want to name. Has to be a good name. Quran talks about it. Everybody believes in God. So why you need to immigrate if you hold the belief? It's not about that. That's because we are Muslims and we are. That's why. No, you have to see that this is not because of your aqidah. It's because of your actions. Maybe your aqidah is causing some people unhappy, and they kill you for that. That's fine. That makes some sense. But just merely holding an aqidah doesn't harm. It doesn't, nobody is bothered what aqidah you want to keep. And today we see that. Whatever aqidah you keep, it doesn't matter. But the minute you start expressing the aqidah, the minute you start implementing the aqidah, then the problem begins. And the implementation of the aqidah of Tawheed is justice, is adl, is truth. If you don't do that, do whatever colors you put in there. It doesn't matter then. And those who immigrated for Allah after they had been wronged, we will surely settle them in this world in a goodly place, in a good place. But the reward for the hereafter is greater. If only you could know. It doesn't mean that you now migrate. Forgetting about your job is about what happened when this surah was coming down. The same time the surah came down in the middle of the Meccan period, we had a history of hijrah. First hijrah, second hijrah, two hijrahs towards Habsha happened. And this is a kind of reassurance coming from Allah to those who are standing with the cause of Allah, which is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if they had been wronged and they had to migrate, Allah will settle them in a good place. This is what it is. And when these people who believe it on Muhammad, when they went there, they didn't preach that, hey, Abyssinians, we are here, we have Quran with us. Let's preach you, let's save you from the fire. How many people must have died while Muslims migrated towards Abyssinia? They had Quran with them, they had Aqidah with them, they had Iman with them, they had Kalima with them. Oh, poor guy dying. Let's say, brother, read Kalima before you die. How many? None. You need to understand the mission of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You don't support him there, no point of spreading Kalima. Allah can judge them the way Allah wants to judge them. That's the whole idea. Why have Allah sent Muhammad to Makkah while rest of the people are dying in the whole world? Allah wants to save Arabs, Quraysh. Allah wants to save Quraysh. What about the rest of the world? Allah doesn't care about that. Because we need to understand Allah doesn't need anything to judge anyone. He can judge you on anything. Whatever you did behave, Allah will judge you if the judging is the only criteria. Here, the mission of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is our Iman. And in that cause, if somebody has done a wrong and you have to migrate in order to save your lives, then surely Allah will settle them in a good place. This is the context. You don't need to understand the context of how people can take these ayah into other ways. Allazina sabaru wa ala rabbihim yatawakkalun. They are those who endure patiently and upon their Lord they relied. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن قَبْلِكَ إِلَّا رِجَالًا نُوحِي إِلَيْهِمْ فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And we sent not before you except men whom we revealed our message. So ask the people of the message if you do not know. So this is always, they were objecting why a man has been sent. So it's been advised to them that go see. Even before you, we have been sending this message to men, to people. We are sending this message. Go ask the people who know. I mean, the Ahl Kitab. بالبينات والزبر وأنزلنا إليك الذكر لتبين للناس ما نزل إليهم ولعلهم يتفكرون. We send them with clear proofs and written ordinances, and we reveal to you the message, that is Quran, that you make clear to people what was sent down to them, and that they might give thought. So you see, ilayhim. What is the purpose of Quran? Nuzzila ilayhim, that this Quran has been come to them. The Quran has come for them. وَلَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ, so that they may reflect on it, they may give it a thought. Imagine how many of the Muslims are reading Quran every day and thinking over it, pondering over it. How many? Quran is inviting you, come think on it. Come on. And there are people, scholars so-called, they say, don't think about Quran. Don't read, don't understand. It's our job to make you understand. Don't read without an alim. You're going to get misguided. But Allah is inviting you. It doesn't say that, ilayhim wa la'allahum yatafakkarun. You come and think, do tafakkur on Quran with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It doesn't say that. It doesn't mean that, the Prophet is not required. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that, people who explain Quran are not required. But the reflection, you have to do it. That's you. So people have to ponder over it. People have to think about it, So thinking on Quran, pondering over Quran is what Quran invites people. And that's why if you see, qara'a yuqra'u, the one that is supposed to be read, Quran, the things that's supposed to be read. This is the meaning of even the word of this book. أفأمن الذين مكروا السيئات أن يخسف الله بهم الأرض أو يأتيهم العذاب من حيث لا يشعرون. Then do those who have planned evil deeds feel secure that Allah will not cause the earth to swallow them, or that the punishment will not come upon them from where they do not perceive. Now, this ayah, if you see, a warning of Allah, that do you feel secure after you take a stand against Quran, that Allah will not cause the earth to swallow? Now, see, this is a warning. Allah is giving this warning after reading this Quran. Now, you remember Samri? He said he gave the same threat to people. Hey, what if the God of Fir'aun and the ilah of they used to worship, Fir'aun and his people used to worship. Musa is gone. What if the God comes, the ilah, the idols of Fir'aun, they come, the gods, they come to uh, you know, seek a revenge. Who's going to save you? Who will save you? So the same fear can be misused and misled. So it happened in other religions. This is the fear. All these religions are running on this fear. So we have to understand which is the right lock, which is the right key, which is the right fear, which is the wrong fear. Even in Islam, people use this fear. Those who are unjust, rulers, usurpers, sucking the blood of humanity, political leaders, religious leaders, military leaders, and other leaders. We don't question them. The poor people who are coming and listening, we are talking to them only, reading all these ayahs to them only. They are already nice people. डरे हुए को मजीद डरा रहे हैं, गिरे हुए को मजीद गिरा रहे हैं, मरे हुए को मजीद मार रहे हैं. This is our approach today. While Quran is talking about, then do those who have planned evil deeds feel secure that Allah will not cause the earth to swallow them, or the punishment will not come upon them. Now look at it. Those who planned evil deed, makaru sayyi'at, plotted. And these are the planners, the movers and the shakers. Quran is addressing. So those who are using this fear for this poor people who are not the plotters of evil, they are misusing this dar, this fear, to wrong people. They are supposed to get glad tidings. Congratulations, you have come to Allah. Congratulate. They're supposed to be the receiver of glad tidings. Rather, you're feeding them with fear. You're trying to make it more fearful, more fearful, so that your khutbah, your darf looks nice, so that people contribute more and more in building a masjid who's going to be the source of income for a lot of people who are connected to it. What are you using this fear for? Creating some norms of the society which become oppressive later? This is what they did. In order to make it more fearful, they exaggerated and they start applying it on every other aspect of society, creating a culture in a society. What is a culture, by the way? जी हमारा कल्चर है. What is culture? हमारे कल्चर में तो ये होता है. What is a culture? Culture comes out of some do's and don'ts. When do's and don'ts become a ritualistic practice, when it becomes daily life practice, then it becomes culture. So if you see the do's and don'ts of a culture comes from where? From religion. Most of the cultures are the outcome of religions. So if you mingle, if you fiddle with fear and don't understand where to use, where not to use, if you fiddle with it, you're going to end up creating a culture, oppressive culture, where a lot of people will suffer because of this oppressive culture. And we have seen, especially in Pakistan, is a good example where the culture is driven by two major religions. One is Islam, other is Hinduism. We have to do nikah. Like one example, we are moving on. One example, we have to do nikah because of Islam, and we have to do dowry as Hinduism. We have to do rasam of nikah as per Islam, but we have to do rasam of mehndi, dholki, other stuff as Hinduism. Why we are doing it? Because of culture. So culture has come from two major religions. So religion is the driver of culture. Religion makes culture. Why? Because these laws of religion, of daily life, daily things, collectively in a society, becomes the rules of doing and not doing, becomes the culture of the society. So we need to understand where culture is coming from. Some people rejects Hinduism, that's good, comes to Islam as a culture, fine, but they don't understand the fear has been misused in a lot of places and made Islam suffocative for those who don't have, who are weaker. So Islam, in order to secure and protect weaker, is further oppressing weaker. Why this happened? You go back and then you'll find there's an aqidah sitting behind it, which was overemphasis of fear. The fear start haunting people. Fear is good in a sense, where fear is making person go in a right direction, but lying to make person afraid, fearful, so that he may reap the benefit, is a wrong approach. Lying is not the right thing to instill fear in someone. So similarly, fear, then you keep on giving person who already has been submitted more fear, more fear. This fear start haunting the person. Fear start guiding his life. Fear start controlling this person's life. Fear suppresses his skill. Fear suppresses him to take a step. People, before taking a step, calls peers up. This is what I'm planning to do. What do you think? Fear is guiding them now. Fear in controlling. Then fear becomes suffocative, become a choking hazard. The fear becomes a choking hazard. It reduces the productivity, the capacity of human beings. So, and it tames people down into one type. This is the nature. We are a different type of people. We have different choices. There are tons of halal choices. Why are you reducing halal? So this is what we did by manipulating this fear. أَوَلَمْ يَأْخُذَهُمْ فِي تَقَلُّبِهِمْ فَمَا هُمْ بِمُعْجِزِينَ. Or that he would not seize them during the usual activity, that they could not cause failure to accept from him, to escape from him. So these two ayahs are for Allah. And this is for those who plot evil. أو يأخذهم على تخوف فإن ربكم لرؤوف رحيم. Or that he would not seize them gradually in the state of dread, but indeed your Lord is kind and merciful, which means Allah keeps on giving them time so that they may, submit to him, and they come in submission. أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ مِنْ شَيْءٍ يتفيأ زلاله عن اليمين والشمائل سجدا لله وهم داخرون. These three ayahs are going to be the ayah of sajda, and we will do sajda after our session. The time of zawal will be gone, so we will perform sajda. So these three ayah we'll continue. It's going to be the ayah of sajda. أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ مِنْ شَيْءٍ يَتَفَيَّأُ زِلَالُهُ عَنِ الْيَمِينِ وَالشَّمَائِلِ سُجَّدًا لِلَّهِ وَهُمْ دَاخِرُونَ. Have they not considered what things Allah has created? Their shadows inclined to the right and to the left, prostrating to Allah, while they are humble, while they are humble. وَلِلَّهِ يَسْجُدُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ من دابة وملائكة وهم لا يستكبرون. That for Allah, to Allah prostrates whatever in the heavens and whatever is on the earth of creatures and the angels, and they are not arrogant. So the arrogance has been emphasized here. People normally take this ayah as, to Allah prostrates everything, that Allah wants everyone to prostrate him, that if you don't prostrate him, it's going to be insult to Allah. That if you don't prostrate him, Allah is going to take revenge from you. Now, this is a wrong approach. The ayah is not talking about that. Allah is Ghani. Remember, Allah doesn't need human beings to not to insult him by not doing sajda. Imagine, why would you create something that would insult you? Think about it. So Allah, so here is the arrogance that is supposed to be focused on more. It has been spoken to you, hey, what's wrong with you? Everything is doing sajda. Why aren't you? Don't you think you're missing something? For example, a truck comes and the truck has bags of ration or some goods or some gifts, and the truck is distributing the gifts amongst people. Why aren't you going in getting it? Go get it. Okay, what if they're giving gold pieces? Then wouldn't you go and get your share? So why aren't you selling it? So similarly, this is the right approach in my understanding, that to Allah prostrate whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth. Whatever the creatures that Allah has created, they do sajda, living thing, non-living thing, whatever. And the angels as well. And they are not arrogant. They're not arrogant. So what you are getting not doing sajda is the arrogance which is blocking you. يَخَافُونَ رَبَّهُم مِّن فَوْقِهِمْ وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. They fear their Lord above them, and they do what they are commanded. So these angels and all these things, they do what are they commanded. And here the Quraysh has been reminded to be fearful of Allah, be thankful of Allah, to sajda to Allah, be a part of His creation, and write the benefit of doing sajda. Jannah is the benefit. Do it, and submit to the commands, which is this wahi. And Muhammad brought this wahi, so submit to Muhammad and accept him, your leader. Now, the Quraysh doesn't want that. The Quraysh chiefs, they don't want that. They agreed until that point. Now they're not agreeing. Now, this is istikbar, which Quran is talking about. They are not doing such that. This is the istikbar. Were they not believers of Allah? Yes, they were the believers of Allah. Were they not serving the house of Allah? Yes, they served the house of Allah. Did they not believe that, if we keep on serving the house of Allah, Allah's barakah will keep on coming, and we are keep on getting these, these tribes who are traveling for trade? Were they not know of it? Yeah, they knew. They don't know that, Rome or Persian Empire can come and destroy them. They're fully capable of doing that. Yeah, they know about it. They didn't know that they attempted before when Kaaba, Allah saved them. They knew about it. They have a belief. Yes, they did have a belief. What is the problem? Problem is, if they accept Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then what's going to happen? He's going to become the in charge. Then we won't remain in charge. That's the problem. That's the istikbar. Quran is talking about these tribal chiefs. وقال الله لا تتخذوا إلهين اثنين إنما هو إله واحد فإياي فارهبون. Has Allah said, do not take for yourselves two deities. He, Allah, is but one. So fear only Allah. So, ilahain, if you see the sigha of tasniya, ilahithnain, two gods. So, what are the two gods? Why two gods? Who believes in two gods? The two gods is you believe in Allah and you believe a deity. That is believing in two gods. And this is what most of them were doing. And then people need, some spiritual, um, assurance. People need spiritual assurance. People know that we have to die. People know that when we die, how are we going to be resurrected? What's going to happen? Is there a life after death? Now, these questions need some something to calm them down, some some concepts to feed them. So, spiritual need is a genuine, true need of humanity. So, what to do? This is what they've been doing. They're introducing them with these concepts, with these ideas of idols are going to save you. Don't worry about it. And this is what Quran is talking about. Don't believe in two gods. And then the subject continues from this point onwards about this other deity which you have created. Allah did not create that deity. So we'll continue, inshallah, from ayah number 53 onwards. I finished reading till ayah number 52. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. رب اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. رب اغفر وارحم أنت خير الراحمين. ربي هب لي من الصالحين. ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين.